Hi everyone. It's great to be back here with you. Today I have a really special guest, Amit Lodha, who many of you will remember from his previous bestseller, which went on to become a movie, or I believe movie rights were taken. In his previous masterclass, Amit walked us through his really interesting and unconventional career, which is also conventional in many respects. But the beauty is that Amit has created his category of one by becoming a best-selling author, a distinguished policeman, an engineer, and a wide range of other things. Today, we are here to discuss a brief snapshot about his career and his new bestseller, which is about to become an OTT sensation shortly. So, welcome to Network Capital, Amit. We love what you do. Can you tell us where you are right now and a brief about yourself? What do you do? What keeps you inspired?
Thank you, Utkarsh. It is after 3 years that I connected with you, but a pleasure like always. Presently, I'm Inspector General of Gaya, Bihar, and it's a very challenging assignment, but very enriching, very fulfilling. And previous to this, I was Inspector General of Border Security Force, Rajasthan, Frontier. And that was also a very privileged post, very, very prestigious post, because I manned the entire India-Pakistan border for almost 2 years, and I had almost 18,000 Jawans working to safeguard the borders of our country. So last
Yeah.
few years have been phenomenal for me.
Yeah, and you've been writing about it as well. So your new book is out. Can you tell us a bit about the title of the book and how did you find time to write this book amidst your intensely busy schedule?
I've never been an author. I always had a flair for writing, and as I told you earlier, also that I never intended to write a book. It was always on the back of my mind because Chetan Bhagat is a batchmate and a friend of mine. So the first book was kind of the offer came to me on a platter, and obviously I grabbed it with both my hands. And the book has become a huge bestseller. Never imagined it to be reprinted 6 times already, and then the Hindi edition is also out. It is also a bestseller in Hindi also, Hindi. And then I used to get a lot of emails, messages on Twitter, Instagram. We are all socially connected today from all over the world. And everybody wanted to know what is the life of a police officer as such.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
the second book, its title is Life in the Uniform. And it just talks about my journey from a shy, timid college student to an IPS officer, and it talks about my growth as a human being, as a police officer, how my personality changes, and of course I talk about various incidents that I experienced, like encounters with Naxalites, how I tackled a communal riot, how I recovered a boy who had been kidnapped, so many other things. And I talk about my frailties, the mistakes which I made, how my subordinates, my members of the police team helped me so much, how my family stood by me, how my wife always used to take care of small things, how my children grew up. So it's quite an interesting take, and I'm very happy that the new book is also a bestseller. It has already been in the top few books on Amazon and Goodread, and I'm very happy to see the delightful reviews it has received already. And both the films, their rights have been taken by a major streaming giant. I don't want to disclose, but it's really, really huge. And the web series, the casting is in the final stages, and we should go on floor by this May or June. And I'm very sure that this web series will be released this year by the end of this year, and people will really love it.
Yes, I'm looking forward to the web series big time. And it's amazing how I look at the fact that you're able to do so well at your job and then have a second career as a writer. The key question is that where do you find time and what's the process of your writing look like? Do you write every day? Do you write in bursts? What's your creative process?
See, Utkarsh, I read somewhere long time back that a busy man has time for everything. And you are also a man who dons so many hats. You do so many things at the same time, and it's really not difficult. So for me, writing both the books was not a very difficult task in the sense that I did not have to imagine any story. It was all there. It happened with me. And I used to just, for example, I'm waiting in the office for 10 minutes, waiting for the next bundle of files to come to me or some phone call. In those 10 minutes, I used to just reminisce, remember my experiences as a young SP. And I'm lucky, I'm blessed with a good memory. I remembered a lot of things.
Hmm.
And I used to call my bodyguards or my earlier staff or consult my wife that what happened during that time when
Hmm.
I was in that district. So I used to just remember all those things and I write it down straight away. No inspiration I require. And I'll be honest, it's not a literary, something masterpiece that I had to really think about it or imagine some things. It was all in my mind. I just had to write in a very simple language which a lay person could understand. My
Hmm.
purpose was to make as many people possible to read this book so that they live the journey of an IPS officer through my book. And I'm
Yeah.
sure a lot of people and who will read this book, who already read this book, will actually grow up with this book. Every chapter dwells about how I changed in my personality slowly, slowly, how I learned from my mistakes. I never call them failures, just experiences.
Yeah.
The good thing about me is that I learn from my mistakes and I don't repeat them again.
So let's discuss that. So on Network Capital, we have this framework that we follow of principles, the book, that pain plus reflection equal to progress. Can you talk about one failure from the book or one challenge from the book or the writing process and how that helped you become a better person, say a better family man, a better police officer, or a better writer? We would love to hear any example that you might want to give us.
See, as an officer, I learned a lot. I made quite a few mistakes. When I joined the service, my SSP, who was my trainer, he told me that you're too soft to be an IPS officer because you're very polite and you talk in a very soft manner with the people. And I thought maybe he's right. He knows more than me, and I also became that typical rude, arrogant policeman, which
Hmm.
usually our image is in the public. So
Yeah.
when my wife heard me talking like that, she was not at all happy with me. She was very disappointed, and she told me this is not the way you need to speak to people, just to prove your authority, and this is not the real Amit. So this is one thing I learned, and after that, I never ever talked rudely to anybody. Never ever.
Hmm.
Always polite to the fault, and that has helped me in my career because the public was also taken aback that somebody's being very civil to them, listening patiently to them.
Yeah.
So, and I realized that you don't need to be, if you need to be tough, then you be tough in your stand, your principles, your ethics, your core set of values. But don't need to be tough or rude to people who have come there to meet you with their grievances. So this is
Yeah.
one thing I learned very early in my career. Then I realized that if I have to succeed, I can only work as a team member. Even if I'm
Hmm.
the SP, I am a leader of the team, so I need to lead them from the front, but I need to take my team with me. It's not that,
Yeah.
I'm the one, it's because of me that I'm getting all the successes or accolades. So always developed a team everywhere, and by leading from the front means that I had to lead by an example that whatever I expect from my subordinates, I need to do the same thing. If I send them to the jungles every week to fight the Naxals or raid their hideouts, I also need to go to the jungle at least once in a month, if
Hmm.
not a fortnight. So this is what, and as a writer, I really don't know. I really never face any challenge, Utkarsh. And as I told you, it's not some great writing masterpiece that I had to really think about it or had a writer's block. Every night I used to write because I was just enjoying remembering my past. When I wrote about my children, how they were small and how my bodyguards or my drivers used to take care of them. And now my children are grown up, they're taller than me. You know, my son is almost 20 years old. So I really enjoy that process. And my son used to be small, my daughter and my staff used to, sing around them, take them for patrolling in the night that, acha, bhaiya ko hum gaadi mein le jate hain apne saath. So this is the kind of experiences my children also had. So it was good fun.
Yeah.
And for the next book, whenever I write, in fact, I'll write a book about my experiences as a student in IT, and I'm
Hmm.
sure people will love that very much because again, I'll speak about my experiences, my so-called failures in IT.
Hmm.
So that should be good fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure that it will be. I think you described something really important that we constantly think about on network capital, that where does power come from? In when you're a police officer, you obviously have power with the position, with the uniform, etc. But if you can often misalign power or misuse power, I'm not saying you do it, but people might. But
They
the
do it. They do it.
real power comes when power is given to you or you demand the respect that comes off. I wonder in your case, what does power mean to you, and when do you feel powerful?
See, always, in fact, in my second book also, I've written this. This is my favorite quote that power is not keeping somebody waiting outside your office for 2 hours. That is a very easy thing to do. Power is to bring an instant relief to a person who's aggrieved. So whenever somebody meets me, I try my best to immediately, you know, act as a balm to that person. I know that I can't solve his problem instantly. There's so many problems which I can't solve. For example, a land dispute. Somebody comes to me that he's having a problem with his wife. It will sound very funny to a lot of people, but for that man, it's a very difficult time. I can't really do it. I'm not a counselor, but I'll listen to him quietly, peacefully. He will say that my wife has lodged an FIR against me. It's a false allegation. So I'll just listen to him, and then obviously I'll inquire, investigate who is right, and then take an appropriate action. But for me, this is it: power to bring an instant relief to somebody. Somebody comes to me that my case has been pending for the last so many years. I've been moving to so many offices, talk to this officer, but nobody has brought succor to my life. Nobody has paid heed to my case. And if I look into that file and I can do something about that instantly, that is power for me. And that one decision can bring out a lot of positive change in so many people's lives.
Yeah.
And similarly, as an IG of Gaya, if I decide that, okay, from tomorrow, I will see to it that whoever comes to the police stations in my range is made to sit in the office. He's offered a chair and a glass of water. These things are unheard of in our country. But in Gaya, I try to do that, but not before I provide some kind of resources to my jawans and officers also. If my
Hmm.
jawans and officers can't live properly, their own police stations are in a shambles, they do not have the required furniture, I can't expect them to take care of the public who comes to meet them.
Right.
So I always believe in holistic development, and small things make a huge difference. So I'm very privileged, Utkarsh, that I'm in a post and a post right now and a rank right now where I can do so many things and get paid for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just my one diktat, my one order can bring about a sea change in the entire range, and that is 5 districts and population of almost 2 crores. So that is the
Yeah.
kind
It's
of,
almost a European country.
yeah, it's that's a kind of position I hold right now. So I can be totally oblivious to the things that are happening around me. I'm in such a senior rank that I would say I will not pick up the phone. I'll not meet people. The SP will meet. SP will bother about these things. But I do make it a point that whoever comes to meet me, whether he's a policeman or the public, I listen to them, and whatever I can do every day, I do. And it's very enriching, very good, when people come after a few days or maybe years also, and they say that, sir, I met you when you were SP of certain place and you helped me. So that happens with me a lot of times, small things which I don't remember, I'm not supposed to remember, I've done my job, but one feels great that somebody comes and people remember it. That's the beauty
Yeah.
of our country, and particularly states like Bihar.
We'll definitely dive deep into Bihar in this conversation, sir. But let's try and understand what is the perception of police? Because there are lots of movies, for example, played by prominent actors that depict the image of police in a certain way. There might be a reality, there might be an exaggeration. Then police might mean different people to different segments in India. So, what was the hardest part of writing this book, and how did you decide to portray what you did portray?
See, that was it was not hard at all because whatever I've written in my second book is 100% true. First book 90% true, 10% was exaggeration because I was not present in a few situations. I did not know what exactly happened, how the criminal killed those innocent people. So I just wrote it like a movie script.
Hmm.
But the second book is every single thing is absolutely true.
Hmm.
And I'm very lucky, Utkarsh, when I read about people that who have been, crucified for doing the right thing, shunted, transferred out, governments have taken action against them. That way, I would say that I'm very lucky that throughout my career of 23 years, that's a pretty long career, I've had the best of postings and never faced any problem, neither from political parties, nor from the public, nor from my seniors. So maybe I was lucky. But another thing is that in my personal opinion, I have always been positive. I've done the right thing. My conscience has been very clear. So maybe there's some spiritual power, somebody who's looking after me.
Hmm.
That is one part. I answered your second part of the question that how did I write my book. So that's an honest thing, and I really did not go through any terrible time that I will write that I went through a terrible time. And in the first book, yes, I mentioned it, but I became mature that once I was shunted, only once in my career. And then I realized that this is life. Whether you're a film star or cricketer, there'll be times when you'll be out of your team. When even if for 5 movies are blockbusters and 1 or 2 films flop, then people stop coming to see you as producers. This happens with everybody. So
Right.
I'm no exception as an IPS officer. So I take that in my stride now. Tomorrow, if I'm transferred to a non-district post, I will feel bad. It's not that I'm not human, but I'll get over it very quickly. That it's part of my life. Now about the first part of your question, that what is the image of the police? However rosy I paint a picture to you, things are not exactly hunky dory, because at times bad things do happen in our police department. There are black sheep. Whatever has happened in Mumbai right now, I'm not proud as a police officer. But for every wrongdoer in the police department, for every vaze, there is also people like Hemant Karkare, Ashok Kamte, who have sacrificed their lives. Just a few days back, we lost 22 Jawans of the CRPF in their fight
Hmm.
against Naxalites. Apart from that, there's so many people, countless policemen who work every day away from their families, their children. They work selflessly, whether it is Corona, whether it is peak summer, whether it is rains. You've seen it with your own eyes. You
Yeah.
can't deny that. We have all seen that work tirelessly. A lot of people who really work very hard, they're unsung, and I've seen so many people who are absolutely honest. It's not that they're one of people. Very, very honest. And I'm not talking about IPS officers only. I'm talking about constables, sub inspectors. In Bihar, I've come across so many people who are very, very honest, not only in terms of money, in terms of their integrity towards work. So I'm an optimistic person. I'm very positive, and I surround myself with good people. And you've seen the movie Ganga Jal. Even in that movie,
Yeah.
the supposedly corrupt police officer who was in cahoots with the politicians, the moment he sees the right leadership, he changes himself, and he's the one who leads to the arrest of the criminals. So this is the
Yeah.
way system works. If you're a good
Hmm.
leader, you can definitely see. A lot of long time back, an officer told me when I was training as a young IPS officer that sir, हम लोग तो मिट्टी की तरह होते हैं, जैसे आप चाहेंगे वैसे बन जाएंगे, जो आप हमको आकार देंगे. So
Hmm.
whatever shape we give to our police officers, they will become like that. If
Yeah.
I demand 100 crore rupees, the way things have come out in Mumbai, my officers will act like that. If I say no, I don't want any nonsense. I just want you to deliver results and work hard. They will work accordingly. If
Yeah.
I pick up every phone call, I meet people in my office. There's no reason my officer in charge, my subordinates, will not meet the public. Simple as that. But if I'm
Role
also in a
modeling is huge. Yeah. Role
yes,
modeling,
exactly.
people
So it is the same everywhere. Just see, take the
in
example of
corporate
sports.
startups, it's the same
It's everywhere
in
in
many
corporate.
things. Yeah.
So ultimately, it's all depending on the leader. What kind of leadership do you provide? And in the IPS, there are a lot of very good leaders, a lot of very good leaders, and we know about them. We
Hmm.
talk about Kiran Bedi, so many other people who've been role
Yeah.
models for the youngsters. Kishore Kumar, who stayed in the jungle for 3 months and
Hmm.
eliminated Veerapan. There's so many people like that.
Yeah.
It's not that there's a dearth of such role models in the country.
Yeah. So let's discuss something tricky, which I don't know how much you can disclose or
I can
discuss.
talk about anything. Utkarsh, don't you worry about me.
Yeah. So what does pressure look like for a police officer? There is pressure from the ground to act. Then there is pressure from, let's say, business. Then there is pressure from, say, politics. Then there might be pressure from invisible forces that we may not know about. How does that practically look like, and how does one negotiate with that and function as an honest, effective person?
See, again, I'll repeat, and I know maybe people who are listening to me, they will think that I'm talking the same thing again and again. I've been very lucky. That's what I think. I always believe that there's somebody looking after me. But again, sometimes I think that my luck is because of the kind of conduct I've always displayed over the years, the reputation that preceded me. So the politicians, the seniors, the subordinates, they all know what kind of a person you are before you join a place.
Hmm.
It's a fact. Initial 3 or 4 years of my service, whatever I did, it will carry on with me for the rest of my career. And obviously, my character also evolves accordingly, and my set of values, core ethics, everything is whatever I have inculcated into myself, the belief that I have developed.
Hmm.
So I have always done my job honestly and impartially, whether it is any particular party in power, it doesn't matter to me. I've always done the right thing, but at the same time, I've been very practical. Practical not in terms कि मैं लोगों से मिला जुला के काम कर रहा हूँ.
Hmm.
For example, there's a communal riot, and I know this is the leader.
Hmm.
But if I arrest him right now, immediately maybe it will lead to some more riots.
Hmm.
So I'm practical. I'll wait for some time. At the opportune time, I'll arrest him.
Hmm.
So that is practical. I'm a problem solver. The government has posted me to look after the interest of the people, the welfare of the people. I go, and issue some, nonsensical order that from tomorrow this is not going to happen. So everybody is unhappy. That, sir, what the hell are you doing? On
Hmm.
paper,
Hmm.
that order looks very good, but it's not utopia out there.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful about whatever you're doing. And I'm not telling that I'm appeasing people, but I'm practical. So I am always, looking into the larger picture, always do the right thing, but sometimes I'm patient. That is one thing. Secondly, the politicians, they know what kind of a person I am. Trust me, I have hardly had one or two calls in my entire career for which, I had to actually think about my conscience. And when you have to think about your conscience, that means something wrong is happening. So I always go by what is right. And that is
Hmm.
practical also for anybody who's listening to me right now. That ultimately government change, politicians do change. But if you've
Hmm.
taken the right decision, the person who asked you for it to do something wrong, he also knows that he had asked you for something wrong. And the
Hmm.
person whom you have not wronged, he will also realize that this man was honest and impartial. So maybe after some years, when he comes to power, he will again say, no, this man was right. He stood by his ground. It did not buckle under pressure that time. So this has happened with so many of my seniors. I've seen that. And when you buckle under pressure, that means you have some ulterior motive. For example, if I buckle under pressure right now for something wrong, but why should I buckle? Because I want to stay as IG Gaya. And why would I want to remain as IG Gaya? Because I'm deriving something, maybe of
Hmm.
pecuniary benefits or something else. But if I'm not
Hmm.
concerned, then what wrong can come to me? You tell me. I'll be transferred from one place to another. I will feel bad. It's not that I won't feel bad. But all the governments, and I've talked about it so many places, they all need good officers. They need to make the government function. They need
Hmm.
the administration to be efficient and effective. So they are always looking for the right officers. But if you're
Hmm.
a problem creator, you're honest, very honest, but you're a problem creator, you go right, left, and center, suspend everybody in the police station that these are dishonest, these are
Hmm.
corrupt, these are inefficient people, then who will work? See, that's a very easy thing to do. Suspend everybody, fire everybody. But as
Yeah.
an IPS officer, I can motivate the same set of people to work harder, to be honest, to be efficient. That is what I'm being paid for.
Yeah.
Being so-called tough that I suspend anybody, that's the easiest thing to do. You can also do, I'll give you the power. You issue orders, the typist comes with the orders and you sign it. And you will say, sir, what a fine officer I am. But have
Yeah.
you solved the problems of the district? No. But if you motivate the team and tell that we require to do these things, we need to arrest all these criminals, the
Hmm.
same people will rise to the challenge and they will definitely live up to your expectations. This is what I've
Yeah.
been doing.
Makes sense, sir. Shall we do a case study, a small case study on the next
Ah,
level one? So, could you describe the situation, your problem-solving approach, and the end result? I know this is not like an MBA class, but it's very interesting the way it has
well, it
been
will be
written down.
interesting for me because nobody has asked me such a question ever. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it.
So, could you just share it in the way I asked you?
There's so many things, so many things which I've done, taken the right decision, which were tricky. And my first book, I've written a chapter. The title is Dekhte Hain.
Yeah.
So, whenever a politician used to come in, when I was a young SP, and I was really foolish, I'm using this word for myself. I used to immediately say, this is wrong, I will not do it, just leave my room. And I used to get really agitated.
Hmm.
So, one of my seniors, when he came to know about this, that this is my attitude, though I was doing the right thing, but not in the right way. He
Hmm.
came and met me. He was my IG. And he said, Amit, because of your right work, this district's 25 lakhs population is benefiting. But if you antagonize one politician for nothing, you will be transferred out very soon. Somebody else will come and act as an SP in place of you. And the 25 lakh people who are actually benefiting from your work right now will be deprived of that. because of your foolishness. I said, sir, I'm doing the right thing, and are you asking me to accede to that politician's demands or his directions? He said, no, just listen to him and say, देखते हैं, हम देख लेंगे इस केस को.
Mm.
That is enough. And then you take the right decision. So next time that politician came to meet me, he thought that I'll be again, the usual self. So I said, how are you? Will you have a cup of tea? He was really taken aback, was very pleased. And then he said, एसपी साहब ऐसी ऐसी बात है इस केस में ये हम चाहते हैं. मैंने कहा मैं देख लेता हूँ. आप मेरे को दे दीजिए मैं देख लेता हूँ. After 2 days, he said, I want to meet you. I thought maybe, and I had done whatever was right. I did not listen to what he had asked me that time.
Yeah.
He came to meet me. I thought he'll be angry and upset. He said, एसपी साहब, I'm so happy आपने वो सही decision लिया. मैंने कहा अरे आपने जो बोला मैंने तो वो किया नहीं. He told me that actually, as a politician, I have to meet all kinds of people every day.
Mm.
You are an SP, so a lot of people are scared of you. You can always say that I'm busy or I will not do this. But as a politician, my constituency, they come and meet me and they expect me to do certain things. When
Mm-hmm.
I come to meet you, I am just putting their point of view.
Mm.
And this time, for the first time, you said, "Hum dekh lete hain." Otherwise, early, every time you used to shout in front of other people, it used to put me in a very embarrassing situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I also knew that I'm telling you something which is not right. This time you said dekh lete hain. So I told my people that, see, I have told the SP. Now
Mm-hmm.
the ball is in his court. So
Yeah.
it's such a small thing, such a small thing. But I learned from my mistake
I
that I
see.
was putting that person into an embarrassing situation, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
also antagonizing him and the public.
Yeah.
So whenever now in today also, whenever comes to meet me, I'll just say, okay, मैं देख लेता हूँ. And
Mm-hmm.
they will know that I will do the right thing. My
Right.
reputation is already there. But lot of time people come. That's a very small thing, but a huge, step in our line of work. Otherwise,
Understood.
every minute I will antagonize people, and they will say कि ये तो एसपी बहुत ही बदमाश है, ये है, वो है. अब सुनो मत किसी की भी, but there's no need to be a Sunny Deol. That's what my senior told me exactly that time. That don't have to act like Sunny Deol. That happens only in films. Just be normal.
Mm-hmm.
This is one case study. Now, apart from that, obviously, in my career, I've come across split-second decisions where I have to take a decision whether I have to shoot or not, whether I have to barge into house or not. So that is all comes from your intuition, your experience. And till now, I've been very lucky. I had a narrow, chances with between life and death, but I'm lucky that I came out unscathed. That time, the right decision I took, it saved my life, my Jawan's life. So that's it. So
Yeah.
that things we keep doing it, and that cannot be taught in an MBA class. I'll be very honest with you.
Honest, it cannot, but it helps to listen and learn. I remember in your previous network capital masterclass, you talked, given an example of your, your a bit too scary adventures in Bihar, and it was like it was a case study, right? It was in a way solving a problem with lots of unknowns, and finally the
Yeah.
result was favorable. So I thought, why not like looking at the same question a few years out? So it seems like Bihar has been a very, like you've spent a decent amount of time there. There is, of course, a reputation of Bihar which is not conducive to, civic functioning. At least many people believe so. So what made you like what does Bihar mean to you, and what has surprised you about your time there?
See, when I joined Bihar, I'll be honest, when I got into the IPS, I was very, very happy. And during our times, cadre allocation was purely random. It was a lottery.
Hmm.
So I was extremely happy and I just wanted to don the uniform, whether I get any state. It's Rajasthan obviously was my first choice because I belong to Rajasthan, but I would have been happy working anywhere in the country.
Hmm.
And when I got Bihar, it was like a blank slate for me. I had no idea, but I had heard not very positive things about Bihar. But I'll be honest with you, I've had the best life in Bihar. Uh, I got so much of love and affection from the people of Bihar, my seniors, my subordinates, and I had a great life. And still, I'm continuing in the same way. So, Bihar, obviously, things are difficult, at the same time, very easy also.
Hmm.
Because if you lead by an example and you tell people that this is what I want, the police, the public are very receptive. Even in the least, with the least resources, with the least manpower, they will do wonders for you. So I've had an exceptional team working with me everywhere in all the districts wherever I've been. and my job has been to motivate them, to bring out the best from them. I have had a great time, and trust me, my family, my children grew up here, and whatever I desired in life, I got everything here. Anybody who joins the service wants to be well known for his work. He wants to have a good reputation. He wants to be loved by his subordinates, his seniors, the public. I've ticked all these boxes. So I will not say, I have no reason to complain. And I'm one of those persons who doesn't compare his life with other people, that what is happening in the Facebook world, what is Utkarsh doing in London, or what are my batchmates doing in Mumbai, Gurgaon. It's
Hmm.
everybody's own destiny. I was supposed to work here. This is my current bhumi.
Hmm.
So once I've got Bihar, obviously I have to work here. This is the place from which I get my bread and butter. And I served the public of Bihar uh, honestly, and I've got more than my fair share of rewards from the people of Bihar. So I'm very lucky that way.
Yeah, I think many people will be quite happy to hear this because the perception is, as you said, it is challenging from the outside.
It is challenging. It is challenging, Utkarsh, but I thrive on challenges. I love it. And what is life without challenges? And I'm a policeman. If nothing, policeman's life is very tricky. If nothing happens, then you get bored. I've written in the second book that if your district is too peaceful, there's nothing happening. A few of my batchmates are in Himachal Pradesh. So I just asked them out their scenario. He was SP of maybe Lahore, Spiti or somewhere. He said last 6 months no cases have been registered. So I told him, "तुम्हारे मजे हैं?" बोला इतने भी मजे नहीं चाहिए that I'm just sitting in my home doing nothing. And Bihar was another extreme where there are
Hmm.
so many challenges. But
Yeah,
uh, when you work sincerely and systematically and effectively, efficiently, all the jargons which you use in MBA, which is actually true, you have to be
yeah,
efficient and effective also. The same problems over a period of time, they start reducing, they start diminishing. So
yeah,
wherever I've been, for example, I was SP of Nalanda. So first 8-10 months, I really slogged hard. I worked very hard. Almost finished all the gangs of Nalanda, the kidnapping gangs and terror, Naxalites and looters, robbers, whatever. And after 1.5 years, everything was smooth, very straightforward. So I just need to go to office, pass some directions. So this is what happens with me everywhere. After a few months, everything is perfectly streamlined. So you have to work hard initially. I think this thing holds true for everybody. You're an MBA, you've been working with Davos and World Economic Forum, and you must have met so many leaders of the industries also. It's the same thing. I don't think Elon Musk or somebody has to work hard every day. Once you put the system in place and people know what is expected from them, they will deliver results to you. So
yeah.
this is
That's a
the
really important concept, sir. Like people sometimes confuse input with output. My book also came out in 2020. It's titled "The Seductive Illusion of Hard Work." So sometimes if you're not solving the right problem, you can be seduced to thinking whatever you
yes,
want. But
yes,
you got to
absolutely.
pick the right problems to solve and
And
really
this is
give
particularly true
everything you
for
got.
our country. In India, everybody measures hard work by hours. How many
Yeah,
hours? When I joined the service, people used to tell me कि सर हम तो वर्दी उतारते ही नहीं दिन भर. Like I'm least bothered आप वर्दी पहनते उतारते हो. मेरे को 2 घंटे में काम करो भले ही पूरे दिन, लेकिन it should be effective and efficient.
yeah,
Similarly, when somebody meets me, बोला सर मैं यूपीएससी के लिए 16 घंटे पढ़ा, 17 घंटे पढ़ा, फिर भी मेरा नहीं हुआ. So I feel bad for him, but then I asked him, did you study systematically? Or you just going by the hours, मैं 16 घंटे पढ़ रहा हूँ, without knowing what is the syllabus, what are the kind of questions the UPSC will ask you. So
yeah.
people need to, understand the difference between the two.
And again, in the many case studies that you've talked about in the first book or in the second one, you've what's jumped out at me at the problem solving approach was that there is a clear method to the madness. It was not that you were like going all guns blazing left, right, and center. There seemed to
Not
be a
at all,
very
not at
clear
all.
strategy in place, or at least you knew that there were unknown unknowns. So when I was at Microsoft, I saw like even the top leaders would be like that. Now run that I run the CEO of Network Capital, even I have to make a decision between should I take 100 decisions in 1 hour or should I take two decisions that really move the needle. And I think
Yes.
often doing less and more, less means more in the long term. So you have
So you're
to
absolutely right.
calibrate.
As an IG, it's as I told you earlier, it's the easiest thing for me to issue orders to all my SPs.
Yeah.
Last 4 months, I've been IG of Gaya range. I've sent just two letters to my juniors, my SPs, and one letter is a commendation letter that you've done very well, and the second letter was that Holi is around the corner, how you need to be alert and how you need to take care. Certain things I've written, and not very long letters. If you write very long orders or issue such, you know, voluminous orders, nobody's going to read them.
Right.
I'm very practical because I have also gone through the same thing. I have been SP, and you get hundreds of papers every day. If you get, and if I regularly receive such letters from my seniors, I would have thrown them in the dustbin. I'm being very honest with them. That ये रोज
Hmm.
ही आते रहते हैं. But now my letters, which are rare, obviously have an impact.
Yeah.
That this man means business. This is what he actually wants. ये letter कभी आपने compliance नहीं किया, then I'll be very angry or upset with you. So
Right.
this is the way I work. I just reduce the clutter in my workplace, my office. Very efficient. I delegate powers to my subordinates. Always believe in them, trust them, and give them sufficient time to solve a problem. It's not
Yeah.
that heavens are going to fall if they don't do it by tomorrow. A lot of people say, हमारे यहाँ parlance से लौटती facts इसका जवाब दीजिए.
Yeah.
Lotty facts, वापस जवाब अभी दीजिए. अरे तो भाई ऐसा heavens will not fall if something comes in a day or two. We'll give
Yeah.
you the right facts.
I think,
So,
sir,
but this
many
is
times
how the
people
bureaucracy works. Yeah.
misunderstand urgent with important. In fact, in business,
Yes, yes,
confusing urgent with
yes,
important leads to a lot of
yes,
pain. And I think even in
yes.
public policy, in public service, it seems from your book that that same holds true.
So, not only in my service, I have been a very active sportsman. You know that I love
Yeah.
sports, tennis, squash, badminton, and I used
That is why
to.
nobody can tell your age. I think many of our
Uh,
listeners, like some are in India, some are around the world. I think it'll be interesting if people can guess your age.
and I'm very proud. I'm getting older, but I'm really happy that I'm getting older. I'm 47, just turned 47 a month back, and I'm quite fit. I think I'm as fit as I was at 20, 24, 25,
Amazing.
and physically, mentally, every which way. And it's not a very difficult thing. It's not that I do something specially to remain fit or active,
Mm.
but I enjoy the process. I love that sports. I eat a lot. You've seen me eating. I had come to court, so I love eating. But then I burn out. Before coming today, you had told me that 7:30 will start, so I went to play tennis, badminton early today. I had
Right.
to finish my 2 hours of badminton. So I was just telling you I was to play tennis earlier, and in spite of hitting very hard shot, I was losing,
Hmm.
getting thrashed by my son. So I have asked my son that I'm, hitting so hard, I'm hitting really blinding shots, and still you're winning so easily. He said that you're not applying your brains. You're
Hmm.
hitting the ball, but right into my hands, and you're chasing the balls, which normally you should have left. You should know the difference that certain balls are to be left. You will lose
Hmm.
only 1 point for that. And
Hmm.
even if you chase and retrieve the ball, maybe you'll get some, claps and applause from the spectators. But I'll easily tap the ball and put it back in the court and get the point. And
Hmm.
for the next rally, you're already tired, dead tired. So apply your brains. The same thing happens with our work. So I firmly believe that whenever, when I join a post, I go through the problems of that particular area, prioritize that what are the important things, and then play to win a point, not go straight away for the winner.
Right.
So you get my, whatever I'm trying to say. No, I play tennis. I'm not hitting hard shots at all, but I'm playing very intelligently.
Got it.
Somebody is coming on the net, I just simply lob the ball over him. Why would I go for a very fancy shot? Simply lob the ball over him. The entire court is vacant. So
Hmm.
the same way I work as an officer, I prioritize, wait for the right time, and for example, Gaya, the most important thing is communal tensions
Hmm.
and Naxal problems. If I,
Hmm.
take time to solve these problems first, then I look after other things.
Right.
But I straight away I come, I'll say, no, first I'll have to improve the traffic problem of Gaya. My DG and my CM will tell that there are a lot of people to take care of the traffic. Please don't bother about that right now. We have not
Hmm.
sent you to take care of Gaya's traffic right now.
Yeah.
The traffic constable will also take care of that. But look after
Right.
the communal tensions, things which are important for the government, for the people of that place on priority. So this is the way I work. And sports, you learn so many things from sports. I used to make a lot of mistakes playing with one player. Next time I started beating them easily. They said, "Sir, what has changed to your game? Now you become so intelligent." I realized I told them that I've learned from my mistakes that what are your weak points and what are your strong points. So I stopped playing to your strengths as play totally to your weak points, and I play to
Right.
my strengths. So this is what we have to do in real life also. We can't be perfect. No tennis player, not even Federer or Nadal, they also have their weak points. So he learned from them. What is the difference between world number one and world number 100? You know, they all are the same shots, same technique, but mental strength, and they're intelligent what to do at what time.
Right.
So this is my strength as an IG. This is the strength I have as
Yeah.
an officer, and this is what I do in my personal life also. I have a brilliant work-life balance. I can be very proud of that.
Can you tell us more about that? How have you, what mental models you've applied to strike that balance?
See, first of all, always think positive. It sounds very cliched, but if I think negative, negative things will happen around me. If I say कि crime नहीं हो जाए कहीं गया मैं ये problem नहीं हो जाए तो पक्का वो चीज होगी. My book, I hope I don't get bad reviews for that. I will definitely get bad reviews for that.
Yeah.
But if I say no, nothing wrong will happen in my district. I'll be positive, and if something happens, I will take care of that. I have faith in myself.
Hmm.
Similarly, I write a book. I have faith in that. I go and take part in a tournament. Long time back, when I spoke about my journey in the IIT, I was a loser because I used to think, yeah, मैं हार नहीं जाऊँ, हार नहीं जाऊँ. I used to lose. No, I go that I will win. I took part in a tournament, All India Civil Services tournament recently in Delhi, just 2 months back. And I told my partner that we are going to win this tournament. बोला अरे सर अभी तो अपन आए. मैंने कहा यार we'll believe that we can win it. तभी तो अपन धीरे-धीरे
Hmm.
जीतेंगे one game at a time.
Yeah.
But if we say कि पहला मैच जीत जाए बहुत है अपन हारने के लिए आए तो we'll be out in the first round itself. And there were
Yeah.
so many times when my opponents had match points, still we won because we
Yeah.
believed in ourselves that it is just one point. So this is, I think, very positively, and I have a schedule for myself, relaxed. Otherwise, after this program is over, I'll be very relaxed. But 7:30, I'd given you this time, so 7:30 means 7:30, and before that, I have to play my badminton or tennis also. That means I
Hmm.
have to finish my entire day's work by 5 o'clock. So this is
Hmm.
how I plan my work, and all the priorities I have already done, all the reports that I had to send. But things which can wait for a day or two, I've asked my staff to keep it away.
Yeah.
So everything is very sorted. My staff was also relaxed. They go home on time. It's not that people are worried that what we have to do. When I say that my car has to be ready by 11 I'll be out. I will not keep my driver waiting. That
Hmm.
I told him 11 and 11:30 I'm doing something else. Mobile पे काम कर रहा हूँ कुछ कर रहा हूँ. So I value my time. I value other people's time.
Hmm.
This is a reputation that has traveled all over. So all my staff, my officers also know that sir ने एक बार बोल दिया इतने बजे आएंगे तो इतने बजे हो गए, and they'll be ready before that. In my personal life also, I give sufficient time to myself. That is very important. I nourish myself. I love to watch films, read books, music, sports. I do everything every day. It's not at once in a while. I do everything every day. And there's so much of time, Utkarsh, in 24 hours that sometimes you wonder कि आराम से सब चीजें हो रही हैं. Why people say that I don't have time? Probably people don't know how to prioritize, or maybe they have so much of clutter and they don't know what they need in life. And I do everything with passion.
Yeah.
So
And
right
so,
now, when I'm talking, I'm totally
uh,
involved with you. It's not that I've got 10 things going on in my mind. When I'll watch
yeah.
a film after this, then that will be the film will be the only thing. Even if my wife or children call me, I'll tell them that I'll call you after some time.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's so important. I mean, as somebody who's known you for several years now, I've always seen you immersed in one thing. And in my book, I talk about a lot of time management is actually energy and attention management, like what you
Yes,
choose to focus on and how you choose to focus on. And you've been able to strike a strong balance there. At least every time I've met, I've seen great focus from you. So we are looking at like wrapping up this section, but I do have some concluding thoughts if you allow. One is, what does mentorship mean to you? Who do you provide mentorship to? Who've been some of your mentors? Because I have seen you with lots of interesting sports people, Bollywood people, government people, civic organization folks. What does
yes,
that mean to
yes.
you?
I've been very lucky, Utkarsh, that I know so many people from various strata of the society, not only the upper echelons, but even normal people. And mentor, as such, I do not have any mentor. But I love to learn from people. For example, I
Hmm.
learned things from you. I WhatsApp to you that you're very interesting. Your profile, you do so many things at the same time. So I learned from somebody like Dhoni that how he's always cool and how he lets his team, hog the limelight. He's behind the team and let his work speak. He will never reply to a criticism or anything. When he lost his form or whatever. And when he had to retire, he retired. He didn't make a show of it. So I
Hmm.
learned that way. I also learned do it that way. From Akshay Kumar, I learned the importance of discipline, respecting other people's time. When he says that I'll meet you at 6 o'clock, Amitji, he actually means it. By 5:55, he'll be there, in spite
Hmm.
of his busy schedule. So he will always return my calls, even if he's missed, he's busy in his schedule, he'll call me back that, Amitji, I'm sorry, I was somewhere else.
Hmm.
Some of my seniors, and I learned from a lot of people, from the common people. They do so many things in Gaya. There's a person called Pramod. You'll not
Hmm.
believe Utkarsh. He used to have a thela 15 years back. And
Hmm.
today his turnover is more than 100 crores. Somebody who had a thela outside my house, he's having a chain of restaurants and high quality. High quality. You
Wow.
see his packaging, everything. It's unbelievable. Purely by his hard work and efficiency and systematic work. So I learned from him, I learned from people, listen to their stories. It's very interesting. And there's so many examples all around us who have, and I really don't go by successes. I love people who are happy.
Hmm.
Success is a very relative term. You can have Jeff Bezos, 164 billion, somebody can overtake him tomorrow. So it's all relative. But I like people who are happy. I enjoy their company, always happy. Everybody has his or her share of problems in this life. You and I, we
Yeah.
also have our problems, personal,
Right.
professional. But still, how you react to a situation, that is in your hands. So I
Yeah.
surround myself with happy people. If my wife has a particularly bad mood for some reason, I'll immediately pepper up. If I'm a little low, it happens very rarely, I'm telling you. Luckily, now I've developed such a personality that I have to think when I was low the last time.
Well, that is
So
beautiful. If that.
my
Yeah.
son, my daughter, my wife, they will pep me up immediately. And if you're
Hmm.
feeling low, then just eat good food, go out with your friends. What is the point being depressed in a room alone? I have done these things also earlier, 25 years back, and I realized how stupid I was. The more
Hmm.
you crib or cry about certain things, the more that depression will engulf you. So it's better
Yeah.
that you move out. Forget about that problem. You can't solve that. So it's in your hands how you react to it. So that is the simple formula of my happiness in life.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Suppose, sir, you have to organize a dinner for
Mm.
5 people, and you can invite anyone, dead or alive, to that dinner. So you have 5 spots. Who would you invite and why?
That's very interesting. Very interesting question. Because first thing will be Kishore Kumar. I
Okay.
love that man for his eccentricity, his genius. And you must have also heard his stories, Mother. And all geniuses, in my opinion, are eccentric. His voice, I'd love to hear. That is one person I would love to meet. And Roger Federer, yes, though
Yeah.
I do say that Novak Djokovic is my favorite, but Roger Federer at the age of 40, even now he has a desire to win Grand Slams and he believes that he can win them.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, at that level, international, level. 40 is a big age, that means you almost belong to the Jurassic age and still you're beating youngsters. You must be
Right.
having something in you. Two people, and three, then the I think all these are well-known celebrities. Shah Rukh Khan, yes,
Okay.
because he was a rank outsider. Again, I'm not a fan of his films or his acting. Not at all. I hate his acting and his films. I'm sorry. Apologies to Shah Rukh Khan's. Apologies to
There
Shah
are
Rukh.
many million
But
fans out
I
there.
know. But I
Yeah.
really love the confidence that man has when
Hmm.
he enters and he comes on the stage or the film anywhere. He thinks that he belongs and he owns that place.
Yeah.
I love that, average looks, no Godfather in Mumbai, still he believes that he can, do anything. His sense of humor, his wit, his self-deprecating humor. That way, I would really rate him very high.
Hmm.
And I really don't know. I like intriguing people, who have shades of gray, who are not stray. I don't like perfect people
Yeah.
because I myself have a lot of shades of gray, which I can't divulge right now. But I like people who have some kind of mystery, some aura, and who are not perfect, who have made some
Right.
mistakes, but who have risen from the ashes like the phoenix, who will learn, who can come back again. So
Yeah.
that way, a lot of interesting people are there. But these three people, yes, Elon Musk also, yes,
Yes. Why
you know,
not?
why not? He's very
Yeah.
interesting. He himself tweets about his company that, I think my company is overpriced. I like such people. And then his stock crashes by 7, 8%. And it doesn't bother to him. But he's there to invent something. And he has that, he keeps sending his rockets. And every few days, the rockets will burst. Still be happy. He'll keep trying. So I like such people. Definitely, yes.
Yeah.
And creative people who, do something new every time.
Yeah.
who
That's
don't bask on in their past successes, who keep doing something new, and who don't fear failure.
yeah,
Richard Branson is very
Richard
interesting,
Branson,
very
of
very
course.
interesting.
Yeah. So, I mean, I must say, an interesting set. Thanks so much for sharing. Amit sir, I must say that you might have read my Harvard Business Review article called Category of One. And you've definitely created your category of one by being a distinguished police officer, a best-selling author, and soon to be, I don't know what's the term for it, movie star in an oblique way. It'll be really interesting to see what you do next. I've learned so much from you, and I'm glad that you do what you do. Thank you so much for your time and for your master classes on network capital today and the couple before. We look forward to meeting you first thing when the lockdown is over in Delhi or Patna or somewhere.
When are you coming to? Are you India or are you still in the UK?
I'm not right now, but I will be after
So
the
whenever you are in
yeah
India, do let me know.
yeah
I will definitely meet you. It'll be a pleasure for me because I need to know what exactly you do. I'm very intrigued. You will also be a
yeah
part of that dinner because you're a
yeah.
global citizen. I've seen your profile and you really enjoy your work, do so many things at such a young
Yeah.
age. So that's
I
very
love
interesting.
building network capital. I mean, I've been fascinated by the question of why people do what they do from the beginning. And now I've made my passion my profession. So I'm the CEO of networkcapital.tv. And we're
Mm.
trying to reimagine how people work, how people experiment with their careers. And honestly, sir, I love what I do. So it's
I know
thrilling
that. I
to
know. I know.
thrilling
So it was a
to
pleasure
host
for
you
me
here.
to meet you, all of you. Same here,
Yes.
Utkarsh. Thanks to your entire team, whoever had logged
Yeah.
in right now. I don't know how many people have been watching this, but it was a very interesting session for me.
Yeah. So what will happen is that not only will people watch it live, which many are right now, we'll be putting it on our platform, networkcapital.tv, which we think of it as like the Netflix for careers. We get the
Really?
most
I
interesting,
didn't know
most
that.
smart people around the world to create a long
Okay.
form content with us, and it will be there available on video as well as audio. So
So
even if
once
people
this
haven't.
lockdown thing is over, I'll love to come and meet you in person and come
Yes,
live on Network Capital whenever you have
yes.
an event or something like
Yes,
that. I'll love to
we
meet
would
all of
love
you.
to, and we would love to do, book reading and book discussion after this
Yeah,
long form. Thank you
surely,
so much,
sure.
sir, and talk to you very soon. Bye.